For centuries, religious scholars, theologians, and historians have debated the true identity of Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. However, few have taken the approach of directly comparing ancient literature across multiple civilizations. When we do, a very different, and much clearer, picture emerges. Today we embark on a journey through ancient Canaan, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and early Israelite tradition to uncover the forgotten origins of these figures. What we discover is that Lucifer and Satan were never originally the same being, and that much of what people believe today is the result of later conflation, misinterpretation, and the rewriting of older myths. Lucifer in Isaiah 14, the fallen morning star. The story of Lucifer begins in the book of Isaiah 14:12-15. In the original Hebrew text, the figure is named Helel ben Shahar, meaning shining one, son of the dawn. This passage is a taunt against a human king, traditionally believed to be the king of Babylon, using poetic language. Helel boasts, "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of El. I will sit on the mount of assembly, on the heights of Zaphon." But instead of achieving godhood, Helel is cast down. You are brought down to Sheol, to the depths of the pit. Helel's ambition mirrors the journey of the morning star, Venus, rising brightly at dawn but quickly fading with the sunrise. This is not the story of an evil entity leading a rebellion in heaven. It is a mocking parable rooted in mythological imagery, well known to ancient readers. Athtar, the Canaanite roots of Lucifer. To understand Helel, we must turn to the Ugaritic Baal cycle, ancient Canaanite myths discovered at Ras Shamra. Here, we meet Athtar, a god associated with Venus, the morning star. After the death of Baal, the king of the gods, Athtar attempts to ascend Mount Zaphon and sit on Baal's throne. However, Athtar is described as too small. His feet don't reach the footstool, and his head doesn't reach the headrest. Realizing he is unworthy, Athtar abdicates and descends to rule the underworld instead. The parallels are undeniable. Isaiah's Helel Canaanite Athtar tries to ascend the heavens, climbs Mount Zaphon, aims to rule above the stars, seeks Baal's throne, cast down to Sheol, steps down to the underworld. Called Son of Dawn, son of the dawn god Shahar, this older myth of Athtar's failed kingship is what Isaiah alludes to. Lucifer, therefore, originally represents Athtar, not Satan. Horus and Set, echoes from Egypt. The ancient Egyptians preserved a similar theme. After the death of Osiris, his son Horus battles his uncle Set for the throne of Egypt. Set, equated with the Canaanite Baal in later Egyptian tradition, is portrayed as the storm god, representing chaos and violence. Horus, as the rightful heir, ultimately defeats Set and becomes king. Key parallels: Seir, Set, and Baal, Satyr, the older ruling storm gods. Horus and Athtar, Helel, Sar, the younger upstart challengers. Horus succeeds where Athtar fails. Egyptian myths, like Canaanite ones, reflected the cosmic struggle for dominion between generations of gods, a mythic theme mirrored subtly in the book of Isaiah. Baal-Hadad and Zeus, the true model for Satan. While Lucifer mirrors Athtar, the figure of Satan more closely resembles the victorious storm gods. Baal-Hadad in Canaanite myth, Zeus in Greek mythology, Marduk in Babylonian myth. Each of these storm gods fought against older cosmic powers, sea, death, chaos, and established new divine orders by violence and rebellion. In the Bible, Satan is called Prince of the Power of the Air, Ephesians 2:2, Ruler of this world, John 12:31. In other words, Satan fits the storm god usurper archetype, not the fallen morning star. Beelzebub, the connection deepens. In the New Testament, Jesus is accused of casting out demons by the power of Beelzebub, prince of demons. Beelzebub, lord of flies, comes from Baal-Zebul, exalted lord, a title for Baal-Hadad. Thus, early Christian writers were already connecting Baal, the ancient adversary to Yahweh, to the devil figure. In the Testament of Solomon, Beelzebul describes himself as formerly the highest-ranking angel, now the ruler of demons, associated with the air and storms. The ancient Baal-Hadad thus evolved into the Christian Satan through layers of reinterpretation and demonization. Apocryphal legends and the fall of Satan. Jewish apocryphal writings, like Life of Adam and Eve and Seku Enoch, describe Satan's fall as a result of pride and rebellion, not because he was a morning star, but because he refused to honor humanity. Later, Christian interpretations merged these stories with Isaiah's taunt against Helel, conflating Athtar's fall with Satan's rebellion, even though originally they were distinct myths. Mesopotamian roots, the rebellious gods. Going even deeper into time, Mesopotamian myths show ancient templates for rebellion. Teshub overthrew Kumarbi in Hurrian Hittite myth. Marduk slew Tiamat and ruled the gods. Inanna Ishtar, associated with Venus, descended into the underworld and returned. In particular, Inanna's descent mirrors the image of a bright star, Venus, disappearing into the underworld, a cosmic cycle reflected in Isaiah's depiction of Hellel. Lucifer in Greek and Roman tradition. In Greek and Roman mythology, Eosphoros, Greek, and Lucifer, Latin, simply referred to the morning star, the bright light of Venus before sunrise. There was no connotation of evil. Even Jesus is called the bright morning star, Revelation 22:16. The name Lucifer only took on sinister meaning after early Christian writers misunderstood and merged the traditions. Archaeology and the forgotten story. The rediscovery of the Ras Shamra tablets in 1929 proved beyond doubt that Isaiah 14 was referencing Athtar, not Satan. Other ancient documents from Ebla, Ugaritic, Phoenicia, and Egypt consistently show Athtar was a Venus deity, a bright but fallen figure. Baal was a victorious storm god, later demonized by Israelites. Set and Baal were blended by Egyptians as desert storm deities. Archaeology reveals that the biblical authors knew these myths and repurposed them brilliantly for theological messages. Lucifer and Satan, two different beings. Lucifer, Hellel Athtar, represents the myth of the proud but doomed morning star, an aspirant to the divine throne who falls in shame. Satan represents the victorious storm god archetype, the cosmic adversary who battles against the heavens, controls the air, and seeks to dominate the earthly realm. The confusion of these two figures came later through translation, reinterpretation, and religious polemic. By understanding the ancient myths, we reclaim the original story. Lucifer is the fallen star, a poetic metaphor for pride. Satan is the storm ruler, the ultimate opponent to the divine order. The Epic of the Annunaki, divine councils in ancient texts, and the identity of Satan. Many ancient texts often reference divine councils and heavenly assemblies, which can be seen as encounters with the Annunaki, the powerful gods from Mesopotamian history. In 1 Kings 22:19-22, the scene of the Lord seated on his throne with the host of heaven surrounding him is interpreted as a meeting of the Annunaki who deliberate on human affairs. Psalm 82:1 and Psalm 89:5-7 further depict God among other gods, indicating a divine council of these ancient beings. The sons of God mentioned in Job 1:6-7 and Job 2:1-2, presenting themselves before the Lord along with Satan, are viewed as lower gods or Nephilim hybrids, beings that are half god and half human. Satan, identified as Mizraim, the son of Ham, is linked to various ancient deities such as Set, Baal, and Zeus Adatos, suggesting that he founded and ruled Egypt with an iron fist. This interpretation aligns Mizraim with the fearsome attributes of the Anunnaki, showcasing the lasting influence of Ham's lineage. Focusing on the identity of Satan, Mizraim embodies multiple identities across various cultures and mythologies. Mizraim, also known as Satan, Set, Baal, Zeus, Adad, and Menes Mizor, is portrayed as a figure of immense power and influence. The Egyptian god Set, known for his chaos and destruction, is identified as Mizraim, who ruled Egypt and was feared by all. This narrative positions Mizraim as a pivotal figure who inherited the attributes of the Anunnaki, blending divine and human traits. By viewing these biblical accounts through this perspective, the connections between the divine beings and their impact on human civilizations are highlighted, offering a unique narrative that blends mythology and history. Noah, Mizraim's grandfather and a descendant of the Anunnaki, further emphasizes the profound impact of these ancient deities, showcasing the enduring legacy and influence of his descendants. Key verses depicting divine councils. 1 Kings 22:19-22. And he said, "Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left." 20. And the Lord said, "Who shall persuade Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth-Gilead? And one said, On this manner, and another said, On that manner." 21. And there came forth a spirit, and stood before the Lord, and said, I will persuade him. 22. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth, and do so. Psalm 82:1. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth among the gods. Psalm 89:5-7. 5. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders, O Lord, thy faithfulness also in the congregation of the saints. 6. For who in the heaven can be compared unto the Lord? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto the Lord? 7. God is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. Job 1:6-7. 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Job 2:1-2. 1. Again there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. 2. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Conclusion. In conclusion, the biblical accounts that describe divine councils and heavenly assemblies suggest that these encounters involve the Annunaki, powerful gods from Mesopotamian history. The figure of Satan, identified as Mizraim, is a pivotal character in this narrative. Mizraim, also known by various names such as Set, Baal, Zeus, Adad, and Menes Mysore, ruled Egypt with immense power and was feared by all. These deities are connected through their storm attributes, often depicted with weapons like thunderbolts and horns, symbolizing their might and ferocity. Each of these figures, in their respective mythologies, stood as enemies of the supreme god or other gods, embodying chaos and opposition. This narrative not only emphasizes Mizraim's significance, but also highlights the lasting influence of Ham's lineage, showcasing the profound impact of these ancient deities. Mizraim's grandfather, Noah, further emphasizes the deep-rooted legacy and influence of the Anunnaki, offering a unique perspective that blends mythology and history, revealing the connections between divine beings and their impact on human civilizations. Becoming Satan, the adversary. In tying together everything presented about Lucifer and Satan, the ancient battle traditions provide the final puzzle piece, explaining how Satan fully became the adversary archetype. Through ancient mythological literature, we observe how storm gods like Baal, Zeus Demarus, and Tesub rose to power by defeating monstrous sea serpents, symbols of chaos such as Leviathan, Lotan, Hidamu, and Pontus. This recurring theme across civilizations frames the adversary not as a simple rebel, but as a champion fighter, who after countless victories became prideful, tyrannical, and obsessed with conquest. Chronological highlights. On Tesub, Hurrian defeats Hidamu, Song of Hidamu. Elil, Mesopotamian, rallies gods against Labu. Set, Egyptian battles Apep on the solar bark. Storm god Anatolia slays Iluyanka. Baal, Canaanite, defeats Lotan and Yam. The Lord, Israelite, slays Leviathan, Isaiah 27, Psalm 74. Zeus Demarus, Phoenician, wars against Pontus. Baal reigns victorious but later clashes with Mot, death god. Each version portrays storm gods conquering the watery embodiment of chaos. Over time, their victories, once noble, devolved into oppression, earning titles like Prince of Demons, Lord of the Air, and finally, Satan, meaning the adversary. In the Baal cycle and the Song of Kumarbi, we even hear direct boasts fitting the Satan archetype. Who can come against me in battle? Who can defeat me now? This deep connection, storm gods rising to power through battle, becoming haughty tyrants, bridges the mythological Satan, storm conqueror, with the theological Satan, cosmic adversary. Thus, Satan's mythological roots are consistent across cultures and fully support the post's broader thesis. Lucifer, Hellel, is a fallen star, Athtar parallel. Satan is a storm god conqueror turned cosmic adversary. Together, these ancient myths, now illuminated by archaeology and scholarship, allow us to finally understand the true origins of these powerful, misunderstood figures. Final conclusion. In closing, what we have uncovered today is nothing short of revolutionary. Through a careful and respectful exploration of ancient mythology, scripture, archaeology, and comparative analysis, we have seen that Lucifer and Satan were never the same being. Lucifer, the shining morning star, was a metaphor drawn from the Canaanite god Athtar, a proud yet humbled figure. Satan, the storm ruler, the adversary, evolved from the mighty thunder gods who once fought chaos and became tyrants themselves. The fear that grips so much of modern belief, the image of Lucifer as the devil, or Satan as an omnipotent force of evil, is built upon thousands of years of conflated myths, mistranslations, and theological misunderstandings. In reality, these beings had distinct, complex stories, far richer and more nuanced than the simplistic figures they eventually became in tradition. This revelation teaches us that truth is layered, and that to fear blindly without knowledge is to chain ourselves to illusions. By peeling back the layers of forgotten history, we gain not just clarity, but freedom. Freedom from false fears, and freedom to seek wisdom over superstition. These findings challenge us to think more deeply about the forces we blame, the myths we inherit, and the stories we tell ourselves about darkness and light. Without this careful dedication to research and comparative study, many of these connections would remain hidden from public view. In an age of disinformation, distortion, and fear, knowledge is the true light. Today, we have pulled back the veil and seen that light shine clearly once again. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I love hearing from you. Check out more videos on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.